Welcome back. And my name is Uhfgood, or Keith, or whatever you want to call me. And we just added some scripting to do the movement of the ball. So it looks like we're gonna see about moving the player here. So let's let's get started. Let's see if I coded it right, and let's see everything is cool. And let's get started.
RB add force, movement. Let's save this script and return to Unity. We check for errors in our footer or the console, and there are none. Good. Let's test what we've written. Hit play, and by using the keys set up in the input manager, the ball moves in the scene.
All right, so let's see if we can do that. Let's go ahead and shrink that back down. Let's go ahead and Control S, make sure I save this, and then let's go back into Unity as he said. And are there any errors? And I don't think there are any errors. Otherwise, at least let's see something here. Is there? Can we add a console? Add tab. I guess not there. I thought the console was in the. Let's see, add tab. Scene, game, inspector, hierarchy, project, profiler, animation. Wonder what happened to that. Anyways, that's okay. Let's just try to see if it works. Because maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. And maybe it's taken a long time. Come on. Okay, that just did not work the way I thought it would. Let's try this again. Oh, probably fell off. Let's try this one more time. Boy, that takes a long time just to get started. But let's go ahead and let it roll off. Because it's a finite plane, it probably just drop off. Yep, it did. Okay. So.
But it's very slow. This is too slow to be playable, but the basic concept works 100%. To stop testing, leave play mode. Let's return to our code and create a tool that'll give us control over the speed of the ball. We need to multiply our movement by some value. We could simply enter that value here in our script, but if we ever needed to make any tweaks or changes, we would have to return to our scripting editor and change the value in the script and then recompile. This takes time. The solution is to create a public variable in our script. Let's create a public float called speed. By creating a public variable in our script, this variable will show up in the inspector as an editable property. When we use a public variable, we can make all of our changes in the editor.
Okay.
We then multiply movement by speed. We now have control over our movement value from inside the editor. Let's save these changes and return to Unity. When we
All right, so let's do this thing here. Okay, so public float speed. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put equals 110 0 f. We'll do it like that, and then we do movement times. What do you do? Times speed. Okay, we'll say time speed, and then we'll save that, and then we'll go back into Unity, and now the question is, there it is. And actually, let's just play it before actually running the video. Whoa! It's a little too fast, I think.
return to the editor, we can see our player controller script now has a speed property. Let's set this property to 100. Now, enter play mode. Whoa, way too fast. But changes are fast too. Exit play mode and change the value to 10. Hit play. That's a little better. Congratulations, we can now move our character.
10. Okay, let's make that 10. Hit play. So, yeah, great. Let's not maximize on play. Let's do something here. Let's go ahead and just hit play right now. Whoa. Try to keep it on. Try to keep it on. Whoa. Whoa. Try to keep it on the edge. Hey, this is fun actually. Okay. Save image but hide. Okay. That's pretty cool. So I guess,
In the next assignment, we'll talk about how to move the camera.
oh, I need to turn this off. Okay, so we're gonna be how to move the camera next, right? Current state of the script as the end of the lesson. Yeah. Current state of the script, right? Okay. And of course it will change. Alright. Mark step as completed. I guess I nailed this tutorial. Woo! Might continue to the next step. Camera and play area. Moving the camera and setting up the play area. Okay. Third of the 4 tutorials in the project shows how to move the camera relative to the player and set up the play area with walls so that the ball will not fall off the platform. And today's rollerball tutorials. Okay. Moving the camera. Alrighty, let's see what we do about the camera.
The camera doesn't move, and from its current position, cannot see very much. We need to tie the camera to the player game object. First, let's set the position of the camera. Let's lift it up by 10 units and tilt it down by about 45 degrees. Next, let's make the camera a child of
10, 45 degrees. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the main camera. 10, oh, 10, and tilt it down. We're gonna say 45 degrees. Okay, 45. Alrighty. Control S, and let's go back in here.
the player game object. This is a typical third-person setup, with the camera as a child of the player. When we move the player's position, the camera moves with it. When the player rotates, the camera rotates as well.
Because he said, oh, shoot, sphere should be called player. I don't know, I must have missed that part somewhere. Player. Okay. That's interesting. Alrighty. What did that just do? Main camera. Let's put this back up here. Alright. So let's back this up here because that's not doing at all what it's supposed to be doing.
Next, let's make the camera a child of the player
Oh, and it wants that at a -10, so let's see. It is at -10.
game object. This is a typical third-person setup, with the camera as a child of the player. When we move the player's position, the camera moves with it. When the player rotates, the camera rotates as well.
Oh.
Let's look at this from a position where we can see both the player and the camera game object. Move the player. Rotate the player. The child camera moves with it. Now let's reset the player and test. We enter play mode, hold down the up arrow to move. Whoa, what's happening here?
Oh,
Okay,
that
well, as
happened
the
to me.
camera is a child of the player's sphere, even though the camera is not moving at all relative to the player's game object, the player game object is rotating like crazy, so the camera's point of view rotates with it. Let's exit play mode. Unlike a normal third-person game, our player game object is rotating on all 3 axes, not just one. In a typical third-person setup, the camera, as a child of the player game object, will always be in a position relative to its immediate parent. And this position will be the parent's position in the game, modified or offset by any values in the child's transform. We can't have the camera as a child of the player, so let's detach it.
Okay.
Our offset value will be the difference between the player game object and the camera. Now we need to associate the camera with the player game object, not as a child, but with a script. Using the Add Component button, choose New Script. We are writing in C#, and name the script Camera Controller, and then click on Create and Add, or simply hit the Return or Enter key to confirm our selection. We should note, this way of creating a script will create that script asset on the root or top level of our
Okay, yeah, I get it. I know. Okay, so alright. So now we want to add, we want new script. I wonder how come I didn't get a chance to choose some other language or other scripting. Maybe it has to do with, I don't know, settings or something. Let's just call this camera controller. Create and add. And then it's going to put that in assets, and we want to put that in scripts.
project view. File Camera Controller in the scripts folder, and open it for editing. We need 2 variables.
Okay, so let's open that for editing. And now I am going to stop, and I'm going to reset, and I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to say I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.